So I was invited to testify because of my role as the founder and the leader of Hjälpekilden, or Help Source, and our long-term experience working with people who have left highly controlling religious communities. We are a non-profit organization. We support people who have grown up in or left closed or highly controlling religious environments. So we were established in 2012 at a time when social media made it possible for people with the similar experiences to find each other for the first time. So through Facebook and online forums, individuals who have left strict religious environments and often felt isolated began connecting. Many were struggling with the same issues, loss of family, loneliness, mental health challenges, and a lack of understanding from public services. The idea of Help Source emerged as a way to organize support and make sure people did not have to go through these transitions alone. Today, we support people from many different religious backgrounds and also work closely with public services on issues like negative social control, children's rights, and mental health and violence in close relationships. They are from all groups, but the majority, I think, are young adults. And we've seen a little change the last years because we started a Snapchat account. It has made it possible for us to reach younger people. So we have also children and teenagers contacting us. I think the most important work we do is to connect people, we are establishing a new network for them. Yeah. It's like a transition to the larger society. So it's loneliness, relational conflicts, and also the impacts of fear-based beliefs, that they still have anxiety for the end of the world, maybe, and they need to talk about these issues. Am I going to hell? Some of these young people are expressing that they are afraid of being rejected or excluded by the family or their community. They are maybe afraid of their parents' reactions if they are gay. They express that they don't live freely, that they feel trapped in a very highly controlled family environment. And we have also received messages from people as young as 11 that express that they don't want to live any longer. So because of the life they have, the control they are living with. This has also placed a significant responsibility on our services. They have needed specific training to meet these young people to respond to suicidal ideation. And also the view on psychological health in some communities. If you express that you have mental health problems, that would mean that you also have problems with your faith. Mm-hmm. So this could be a crisis. You are out of yourself. You need to be quiet about having mental health issues. And when the problem doesn't disappear, they may have a faith crisis. So my belief isn't good enough. What have I done wrong that make me feel this way, that I still have problems? This teaching, they don't disappear at the same minute you are excluded from the community, or if you leave voluntarily. This teaching, they don't really change overnight. They are still there. There's a doubt that, oh, maybe I did the wrong choice. Am I going to the eternal, what is it called? From the beginning, we made a conscious choice to focus on helping individuals rather than fighting religious institutions. And that approach has allowed us to build trust, credibility, and a constructive dialogue, I think. both with those seeking help and with authorities. So a specific rule here says that religious communities are not allowed to use what is called negative social control. And I don't know if that is a term you use in America. Yes, coercive control, and it refers of patterns of pressure, surveillance and sanctions used to enforce conformity to group norms by constricting personal freedom, relationships, and autonomy. So, and this, of course, becomes especially harmful when it affects children and young people, shaping their choices through fear rather than consent. So the question before the court was whether certain practices violated the law and whether the state was justified in responding when negative social control was found to occur. So in other words, the issue was not that what people believe and what Jehovah's Witnesses believes. I'm not sure how to say this in English. We have there's a process before the law that we can have a say in it, and we have expressed our concerns. So part of this law is because of our concerns through many years in our relationship with the government. So it's not a law that suddenly just appeared. Right. It's there also for a reason. The common reaction was, but you only spoke to a few former members. Why don't you ask the thousands who are doing fine? And the underlying message here is often the problem is not the system, it is the individual. It is not us, it is you. And this framing, it marginalizes those who suffer the most. Their experiences are treated as exceptions, right, rather than a warning sign. But harm does not need to be universal to be serious, especially when it affects children. And also, as you say, this same dynamic appears in court. Those who are able to testify, they are often described as biased. They are from Hjälpekilden or help source, so they are biased, as they have a motive to witness. They are unrepresentative, and also the people who are most deeply affected that I personally know, they would be unable to speak in court because they are struggling too much with their mental health, with trauma and suicidal ideation. So they could never participate in any legal proceeding. It creates a imbalance when we have credible evidence that shows some children's experience isolation and fear and psychological harm. The state have a responsibility to take that seriously. Last week, new research was published. Sorry, has been published, yes. And this is exactly what I would say today in the debates in the Christian media today, because of this published research about children's upbringing in those religious groups. But it doesn't change. It's they have the loudest voice. We are the victims. Oh, there's a research about us. Oh, our religious freedom is yet again under attack. Why does this always happen? I get so furious. We're now in the Supreme Court. I don't know if this will change, but I think it's important to acknowledge that the law alone is not enough. If these legal protections fall short, move in the direction that leaves children not protected enough, it means that we cannot rely on legislation alone. I think the real work happens in the human encounters, in schools, child welfare services, healthcare, and these everyday interaction with the professionals who can, when they understand the realities of growing up in these communities, are able to recognize the signs. And another thought I have had is that tomorrow's leaders in these religious groups, tomorrow's parents, they are now children. they are in school, kindergartens, and they are part of the same educational system as everyone else. So if we can reach them there, if we have through greater emphasis on mental health, on emotional safety and healthy boundaries, when it comes from a public awareness that reaches all children, including from these closed environments, when they grow up, they will bring this with them. Maybe they will bring changes from within, because we have seen these changes before. I think 40 to 50 years ago in Norway, there was an increased awareness of physical violence against children. This was new. And these changes didn't come from within the religious groups. They didn't change overnight. But in the next 20 years, it changed, because children growing up here, they had thought at school that they were taught that this is wrong, and they were taught why this is wrong, how it affects their mental health, and also regarding children's rights. So it changed. Today, I don't think this is a big issue in religious communities, physical violence against children. I strongly believe it can change, but it needs more help from the society. It needs to emphasize the education. We can reach tomorrow's leaders now. I believe also back then, 40, 50 years ago, there were reactions within, why are the state trying to change us? They have nothing to do with our beliefs. And there was a lot of the same reactions we see today. This is an attack on us as a religious community. So, but it changed. It did.
Yeah.
We need to have hope. Yes, I will be. I will not be attending every day. There are 50 seats available. Maybe there will be a lot of people there. I don't know, but I will be around to meet other people who I know are interested in this field. When the law is pointless, they need to change it. So yes, absolutely. They've tried other cases through with other religious groups, but I think no one has documented better the negative social control than Jehovah's Witnesses. The other religious communities, it's not written in the same way. It's more read between the lines. It's more invisible. I don't know any religious group in Norway that it is easier to find a negative social control than in the Jehovah's Witnesses. So this rule cannot be used anymore at all, I'm sure. So they would need to look at this. I'm sure they will, and do the changes that need to be done. One of the problem is that there is no legal definition in what is negative social control, and there is no legal definition of psychological violence. So maybe it needs to change.
Hilde Langvann has been a tireless advocate for over a decade and has helped hundreds of people in their journey out of closed religious environments. She was interviewed for Bartland magazine in August 2025, and she stated the following: "It is not freedom of religion that is threatened. An upbringing characterized by control, fear, and loss of self-esteem is the price some children pay for the community around them to be left alone. Children's voices are drowned out by the adult's victim role. In the debate about freedom of religion and state supervision, there is a lot of noise. Adult men claim to be censored. Religious communities believe they are being persecuted. Editors warn against being forced to believe in a liberal way. When religious communities are met with supervision or criticism, they take on a victim position. The state becomes the abuser. The religious community is portrayed as the real victim. But those who actually need protection, the children, disappear from view, both in statements from religious communities and from society's watchdog, the media. The children's voice is still absent. No one wants to deprive adults of the right to believe, but we must be able to discuss what happens when this right is used to shape children with control and fear, and when children's opportunity to develop freely is sacrificed for the convenience of society."